here's a striper. This is the bottom. That's a striper. That right there could be a little bit of interference, but every once in a while you'll see balls of that blue that's actually bait. But that's a striper right there. You see that yellow in it? That's
He's in about 40 feet, right, David?
Yeah.
You look for. Have you been seeing big schools up and down there, David, or you been seeing just one or two every once in a while?
One or two every once in a while.
I got you.
Yeah, that right there's a fish sitting on the very bottom.
Where's the thermocline about this time of year?
The other night, it was about 60 foot.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
There it is. That's the old road. That's where it sunk into the bottom right there. Some wood or rock laying right there. With a fish.
See, he knows what he's looking at. That side imaging is like throwing me out in the desert and telling me to find a palm tree or something.
This looks like an old piece of the bridge or something.
Yeah, it was like.
Or two logs. This is two logs laying suspended over the channel.
Are those fish?
Yeah, that's fish right there.
Yeah.
That's two logs that are laying on that ledge and just hanging out over the channel.
Then you can also split screen this thing.
That's one I can.
That's crazy.
I don't use. Yeah,
that's weird.
Doesn't help me.
What do you do? Aim at those little circles and go back toward them or something?
Yeah, you just like you were navigating on here, but it's like vertical.
But you're looking on top of the water like that. Look how detailed that map of Lake Martin is.
Do you have a chip in there, David, or is that preloaded?
No, it's preloaded.
NVB.
That's that bird's eye view, isn't it? That's good. Good gosh.
Right on here to that.
You using riggers, David, downriver?
No, we'll just set them out and drop live bait on them. Only time I use those down riggers is if I'm trolling artificial.
All right, David, you ready to get started fishing? Tell the folks a little bit about what we're using to catch some fish tonight.
All right, we're using gizzard shad that I caught off of the Coosa River. We go up on the Coosa River, the chain of Coosa Rivers, different dams, different times of the year. And we catch these gizzard shad, and this is one of your smaller ones here. And I start out with these smaller baits, especially at night. These smaller baits attract the big fish and the small fish, and
kind of gets them going in a frenzy sometimes, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
And the way I'm hooking these, and I'm using a 3/0 circle hook. Yep. And I'm going through the nostril. And
Now, why don't you put it through both lips? Because I think I know the answer, but I'm gonna ask you, because a lot of people that do shiners and stuff will go both lips.
Yeah, I put it through here because they move around a lot better. Now that's just my belief. See how he's bouncing around right there? He lives longer. If you put it through the lips, I mean they don't live long.
I noticed the same thing. That's why I asked you when we fished for strike years ago and live bait, we'd only hook the shad in one spot.
That's right.
So they could open their mouth a little.
Right.
And those are some perfect size shad.
Right.
Folks, these shad this size are like gold for strike fishing on Lake Martin. They're almost impossible to get enough to have a good fishing trip on Lake Martin. So what David's doing by going up to the Coosa River and getting them is really, it's a lot of work, but it pays off big time.
A lot of work. I mean, I go as far as Wise Dam, Neely Henry, Lay Dam, down to the what is it?
Mitchell.
Yeah, Mitchell.
Yeah.
Then there's times that I go up as far as up on Gunnersville, up on the Tennessee River.
Yeah.
Now that's a haul.
That is a haul.
But you can make that long drive and get bait quicker than you could spending your
Oh,
whole
yeah.
day out here on Lake Martin trying to get enough bait.
Let me ask you a question, David. What's the deal with shad? Because Greg and I remember when Greg and I were growing up on this lake, we would go out and cast net for shad, and you know we had to work a little bit, but Greg would pretty much catch them. You know, we could go out and have a good trip, but it just seems like here lately that the shad population on this lake hadn't been what it normally is, and people are struggling to catch live bait on this lake. Do you think it's attributed to the cold winter we had?
I do, and I think that Lake Martin had a shad kill here. I know Coosa River had a big shad kill during the cold weather we had this past year, and but it didn't affect the bigger shad. It affected all the thread fins, and it affected the real small gizzard shad.
Yeah.
But and Greg was telling me the other day, and I don't mind saying this now because they're not there anymore, but we used to all go in the back of Coley Creek.
That's right.
And I mean, you could go back. Yeah, Elkahatchee. You could go back there and throw your net and get enough bait to fish at least for that day.
That's exactly right.
But now, I mean, you can go back there a dozen different days and you might get 10 shad, maybe.
That's crazy, but it has dropped off significantly.
Real.
That's the advantage, folks, of having a guide. You know, if you don't have the time and the equipment to go and get shad, there's a lot of work to keep them alive.
Yeah.
That's why you hire a guide, because any time of the year when you got live shad this size, you got a chance to catch a striped bass.
And Greg, just like people have seen on our saltwater shows, this is the key. What's in that bait tank is the key. When we go out on those saltwater shows and we catch thread fins or hardtails or whatever it is that those particular fish want, you've got to have the right bait and the right size. If not, you're not going to have it.
It's no doubt. You can come out here and catch fish, artificial, but you got a better chance of catching a better fish with live bait.
I'm ready to put one to work.
Me and you both.
We're fixing to do that. I tie these leaders right here about 24 inches from the swivel down to the hook. I put a glass bead above the swivel. I'm using a 2-ounce weight that gets the bait down where the fish are and it holds them where the fish are. And I'm using these Cabela depth master reels. Shows the depth right here. You can mash this button and zero it out. As you let that line down, it counts how many feet you're down. So I'm putting these baits right where those fish are.
What size swivel are you using?
I'm gonna show you what it is, and I was scared you'd ask that, but that's the size I use.
That's a little bitty swivel. That's a little bitty swivel.
Yeah. But
that's a big.
That's a big swivel. But I can't tell you what number that is.
That's fine. I mean, I was just guessing from my own person.
But if you ever want to buy any of that size, you come see me. I'll walk in the store with you.
He'll show you what peg they're on.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I got you.
Right here we have a striper, and it might not show up on your camera, but that is a yellow mark right there. This is the bottom. We're in 87, 88 feet of water. This yellow mark right here is a striper, and you see the length of that. That's showing you that it's a big striper. And that striper there's at 32 feet. Possibly this right here. Possibly this right here could be bait with some fish in it, but what I'm gonna do, I see that fish at 32 feet. The majority of the time those stripers are gonna hit coming up, so I'm gonna put my first rod out at 30 feet and hoping that fish at 32 is gonna come up and hit him. Yeah, and that first fish we marked was at 32, so I'm gonna put it at I'm gonna put it at 30 because I got a 2-foot leader on there.
What pound test are we using?
That's 20.
20, and how big is the leader?
20.
20 pound leader on 20 pounds.
What we're gonna do, we're gonna set one at 30, we're gonna set one at 34, we're gonna set one at 36, and one at about 38.
38.
So we got 30, and Greg, what depth you gonna go at over there?
What'd you say, 32 or 34?
Let's go from 30 to 34 on that side, and over here I'll go 36 and 38.
That's it. 34 feet. Let's see if that's it.
Now another fun thing to do is go flip around the. Another good fun thing to do is go flip around the pier lights.
Pier light, yeah.
And then I just take those free lines and flip up under the lights and let them just swing. Yeah.
Man, no sooner than you said there was a fish under the boat. Look at this, folks. These are all fish. Our bait's right at 32, 34. These fish rose up from deeper water and got on our bait. Brett, look up right now.
Greg, David called him.
He was right there on it.
What depth did we have that rod at?
30.
Bring all these other rods up to 30 and 32. Just let him take it. That's all right. When he gets ready, he'll take it.
There he is.
That is good.
That's a good one. That's a big one.
That is a big fish. Big fish.
Oh, good.
All right. All right, my man.
Hey, David.
Big fish on a small bait.
How about that? Give me let some slack out.
Yeah. All right, Justin, you see right here? All these marks right here are stripers. Those stripers right there are 35 to 40 feet.
Solid, buddy.
That's a pig.
He was fine. How big is that one?
He's nice.
Belly on that pig. He is a pig.
Look out.
Good.
All right, y'all. That right there is what a circle hook does for
Right
you.
in the corner of the mouth.
That fish is not hurt at all. We're taking that hook will come right on out most of the time.
Look at there. Look how easy that is. Gets down that tough part of the bristle of his mouth, but still.
Well, that hook will not let go. When
It
you hook
will not let go.
Because it's every time he's pulling, it's pulling tighter on his mouth.
That's a 3/0 hook, bringing up, I would say, 25 plus fish. What do you think, Greg?
Oh, it's a solid 25. Gotta be. Look at the belly on it.
Yeah,
That is a pig.
Yeah, he's 25.
You know, it's so awesome using good electronics because you can watch those fish. I mean, he marked that fish right at the depth our bait was in.
Yes.
I mean, within seconds, that fish was on the rod.
Lake Martin at night, summertime. More of Sports Blitz Outdoors right after this.